Hello and welcome to Day 2 of Week 7 of Split 2 of the 2020 OPL. I am your host, Nick Boy Richardson, fresh from the shower, which is probably too much information for you guys, but that's what you can do when you work from home now. Like, you're literally always in comfortable pants and just out of the shower. I think that's true of me, and that's certainly true for my three fellow casters who are joining me today for Day 2 of this weekend. Let me introduce you to Spawn, Skimmy, and Rusty. Gentlemen, how are you? Gentlemen, where are you? There we are. Spawn's asleep.
Didn't you tell me that we were supposed to nap for the first 4 games and then just eat dinner on stream? Like, literally before we went live? Why am I the only person napping?
I had a pressing question. The man just said he's had a shower at home, but I didn't realize they actually had functional showers at IKEA showrooms. How does that happen, Nick?
It just, I just sort of swim around in the, what's the food they sell there? Swedish meatballs. There you go.
You're beautiful, mate. You're beautiful.
How many showers have you had today so far, Nick?
Just one.
Oh, only one.
Yeah.
I'm a triple shower guy.
Triple shower? Triple.
So I get up in the morning and I have a shower because that's the first thing you got to do. You've been filthy from sleeping in a bed, right? Mm-hmm. And you know, your partner's been touching you or whatever. Ugh, germs. So you get up, you have a shower.
Yeah,
and
I hate when my partner touches me.
Yeah, just filthy creatures, other human beings, to be honest. And then we do our call time, and then I have call, and then to like freshen myself up, I'll just jump quickly in the shower, and I'll have like another shower. And then as soon as I get off the show, I just feel dirty having spent so much time with Skimmy. So that's where shower number 3 comes in.
It's understandable, mate. It is understandable. I'd shower if I had to hang out myself too.
So that's 3 showers.
What's your water bill like? That sounds crazy.
Well, they're quick showers. I'm only like a 2-minute shower. Get in, soap up, get out.
I have a good 10-minute shower. Just enjoy, unwind.
Yeah, but no, that's not what the shower's for. That's what reading books are for.
It's a small comfort versus practicality.
Rusty, how often are you naked and covered in water?
I aim for once a day, but if I go for a run, I need a second.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's implied, right? If you told me you went for a run, you didn't have a shower, I'd be disgusted.
It's pretty gross.
Chat, let us know how often you shower. I'm on once a day, except for if mitigating circumstances, and in the second half of the day. I get dirty during the day. I have a shower in the evening.
What?
Rusty's giving up. He's gone. Goodbye.
You don't shower in the morning?
No, because I'm perfectly clean.
Don't you have like eye gunk?
You can wash your face. You don't need to shower.
I'm allowed to put water on my body.
Okay.
And, like, without having a shower.
Okay, but then, like, haven't you got, like, just terrible... Like, haven't you been sweating all night from the nightmares you're having from living in this existence that is 2020 Earth?
No, my life's pretty good, buddy.
I sleep like a baby.
There you go.
Yeah, I sleep guilt-free. You've obviously got some demons. We can work those demons out in the Nick bag. The Nick bag will be running today. Please send in your questions to asknickboy@gmail.com, or there should be a Google form that you can add something to right now. I'm just going to get up today's theme. Today's theme is lockdown. It's all happening again. It's happening in Melbourne. It's probably happening in Sydney soon. So we want to help you get through it, whether it's dealing with roommates you might have to be around now, or family or friends, or you've got some work from home situation that's not going too well. Let us know. We want to help you out in the Nick bag. So hit up the Google link in the chat, or send them to asknickboy@gmail.com, and we can help you out. But today's not just about the Nick bag. Today is about some League of Legends, and today is brought to you by our partners at Neosurf, Epos, and Macca's. Neosurf, a reminder that they schedule came up, schedule went away. I feel like I did mislead you there a little bit, production. We'll go with Neosurf first. Neosurf, we're picking the winners for the last round of the Neosurf competition today, and that means that a new round is starting, so you can join our opening titles video if you just send us in a video of you joining that call. Follow at Neosurf Esports and at OPL on Twitter, and then send us a video with you joining our phone call in some weird and creative way, and the winner that we pick on the broadcast will get $500 dues in NeoSurf voucher credit to use on the League of Legends store, and the runners-up will get $100 each. That is very exciting. So that is all thanks to NeoSurf, and there are full terms and conditions available at watch.lollysports.com. You want to watch some LOL esports? Well, that is the right thing to do because you're here on the OPL. So let's take a look at the schedule for the games we've got coming up for you today. We're starting off with a banger, and it's kind of just bangers the whole way down when you look at the matchups, I think. We've got Chiefs versus Legacy for Game 1, Order taking on Dire Wolves for Game 2,
banger.
Avant Gaming versus Pentanet.gg for Game 3.
Should be a banger.
And Gravitas v Mammoth for Game 4.
But definitely a banger.
The Apocalypse.
Did you say Bang-pocalypse?
Yeah.
That's
absolute,
amazing.
Like, the
I want to
ultimate
use
banger.
that word. Oh, it is. Bangers and mash, mate.
Australian
It's happening.
family dinner, bangers and mash everywhere.
Boom, eat your heart out. Get it in ya.
Get it in you, indeed. You should get all 4 of these games in you. I'm very excited about the outcomes from today because obviously we are reaching the pointy end of the season, and every game, more so than ever, counts right now. So we are excited to be jumping into it. Something else we're excited about is EPOS. EPOS being another one of our very valued and wonderful partners, and they want to give you a gaming headset. You've heard this plug before. You can get yourself an EPOS GSP 600 gaming headset just by going to our @OPL account on Twitter and reply to our tweet there promoting this competition with your most out-of-this-world gaming experience, the experience you've had in video games, where you went, "Ooh, boy, that was spicy. That's a story I'll tell for years to come, and one day will net me a free GSP 600 gaming headset." That's why
Yes.
you retained it in the dome for this long. Full terms and conditions are available at watch.lollysports.com. We've got 2 to give away. We're going to do it in a couple of weeks, and we want to give them away to you, because otherwise Spawn's just going to keep them. And also, he did offer to sign one, and I think that offer is still valid. And, as we've learned today, it will be the cleanest headset you've ever gotten.
Yeah, absolutely. I shower with that headset. Soap it up and everything.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get ready for game number 1. It's Chiefs versus Legacy, gentlemen. This is a big one because obviously we've seen Legacy not in the greatest form over the last couple of weeks. Yesterday was a better day for them, clearly, but both Chiefs, but Chiefs as well, lost to Mammoth last week. Was it Mammoth?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both of these teams lost to Mammoth last week.
Yeah. So there you go. So Rusty, how are we feeling about this? Who are we excited to see take out the big dubs today?
It is going to be a very interesting game for who is the second best team in the league, Nick, after Mammoth, of course, as they both lost last week. I think it's like watching both teams refine their identity in very different ways, I think is the most interesting thing with this clash. Will Legacy still be super slow? With Croc being back in some form, will the Chiefs still be really fast again? Or like find those aggressive skirmishes? I think the difference is how well they play to their styles probably today.
Spawn, you did point out that a lot of these teams are playing a lot slower this one, but the Chiefs' playstyle traditionally has been sort of like quite hit them fast and snowball those fights. Is that what they're going to be doing with Legacy today?
Yeah, and that's what they tried to do yesterday, right? I was watching that game back against Styles, and I thought if that bottom lane dive didn't go as poorly as it went with the dive being matched by Miru, actually, they probably run away with that game in maybe 25, 26 minutes. So I think that Chiefs are back to playing really quick League of Legends. It's just about whether, as Skimmy pointed out pre-broadcast, and I'm going to put some words in his mouth, whether Legacy can bore the Chiefs into making another mistake, because that seems to what happened last time, Skimmy.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we were mentioning, right? The fact that the game was pretty much dead even in gold. Nothing happened for the first 20 minutes. Chiefs got frustrated. They forced all the dragons. And as soon as they were like, oh no, we need to contest the soul point, Legacy showed up. They won the fight. They had 3 teleports. They backdoored them. They won the game. So we hype it up to be the OPL Classico. We want to see some carnage.
That is a great tactic to bore your opponent into forcing a mistake. All right, well, let's see how boring Legacy can get as we jump into game number 1. It's Legacy versus the Chiefs, and it's coming up after this short break with the Macca's Champ Select.
And here we are for a stacked second day in week number 7. Once again, it is the Chiefs taking on Legacy, a long-lived rivalry, one that is always hype and excitement. And on a brand new patch in 10.14, we get to see the clash of these different playstyles. What does it mean here today, but also in the grand scheme of the table? Because as we said in that pre-post game as to really what the standings look like, all these matches could have some very serious implications as to, what the standings look like and looking to try and really break up that mess.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm actually just jumping onto the page right now, asking me to check out the standings, because I'm pretty sure these teams have a couple of games apart now, given the fact that... Oh, why am I on North America? Come on.
Well, we don't want that, do we, Jake? Coming into this one, Legacy are 10-3. The Chiefs are 8-5. They're still searching for a head-to-head win, so we're going to be looking to try and see what the case is here.
Couple of games apart, as I said, Skimmy, so this one doesn't necessarily bring Chiefs back into the fold, but I feel like if they do lose this game, they'd probably kiss that first place race goodbye, as Legacy would have the head-to-head, as you pointed out, as well as the fact that they would then be 3 games cleared. So I feel like this is, if you want to come first, a must-win for the Chiefs. Obviously, these two teams, the teams that you expect to be in the playoffs. Legacy, they've got Order hot on their heels at the moment. Order in 9-4 and in second place. So if they want to be able to retain top spot after this week, they probably need to win this game.
They certainly do, because as we see coming into this one, there are 3 teams tied at third place right now at 8-5, be it the Chiefs, Direwolves, as well as Pentanet. So not only are the 2 teams here on display today looking to get the best result, but it'll be the teams also spectating or watching and saying, we want the result to go a certain way as well. Telly going to be rejoining the boys here for day 2 for this match. We start to wonder what the picks and bans were going to be. Traditionally speaking, the Chiefs have banned away the Callista from Legacy, targeting Raze in particular. Katsuri's most played champion has been the Ezreal. Now, what is one pick that really annoyed Chiefs last time? It was this Twisted Fate, and they're going to first pick it here for Claire.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a strange pick for Claire because, with things like Syndra up still available, Claire has got a couple of picks that he has a very high win rate on, Skimmy. However, obviously feels like against Tally, he's not going to necessarily be able to bully that lane. Tally does play neutral to soft losing lanes and then is much more useful as the game progresses. Also quite interesting that they're using Tally over Halo. Halo looked much improved yesterday, I think it's fair to say. But you can see that deliberate choice to add some global flair into the Chiefs composition.
It certainly is, and we've seen before also the necessity to want to go for the Karma. Based on the current form of Claire, you'd hate to see him be playing that right now, so going to be looking to try and play the Assassin, the Empowerer, to try and get the ball rolling. We've seen how good a TF can be in terms of snowballing leads and forcing lanes to be ahead of the result, especially if Croc is in good form as well. A 4v2 is never a situation you're going to scoff at.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that is a pretty high utility lane to be able to gank as well, Skimmy. If you want to talk about Croc being active on the map with potentially Claire in his back pocket, you now have a Senna as well as an Nautilus as CC to be able to add into that mix. Babip, however, going towards a tempo jungler we don't see all that often in the OPL anymore, Skimmy. It's going to be the Olaf. When you have a look at the amount of CC, Olaf should have a field day against a couple of these champions, being able to just Ragnarok through the front line. Potentially look to take down something like a Twisted Fate or that Senna.
Yeah, certainly should do. I mean, this is looking to be the run-it-back style here from the bot lane of Chiefs with the Senna and Nautilus once again. But as you say, pop Ragnarok and you can run through absolutely everything. Not to mention, you can have the buff-ups there from the Karma, as well as the constant slows that Raze will be able to provide as that Ashe. So some very solid uptime here to ensure that Babip can get in your face. I was wondering if we were going to see the likes of a Graves. Obviously, they ban away Nidley, but Graves is one of the picks that Babip has been favouring this split so far, but as you say, yep, Olaf, a 2-pick fold, going to be a denial as well as a utilization on their end.
Yeah, I was going to say Lee Sin, Kindred, kind of the 2 champions left up and available that will do very well into Olaf. And you can see that is going to be the Lee Sin taken off the board. Lee Sin Twisted Fate is my favourite 2v2 to play in the game, Skimmy. If you can't hit skill shots, having TF on your team, very useful because he just holds them still for an extra little bit of time for you to be able to line those ones up nicely. And I think that this is a smart pick ban so far from Legacy, and I do want to clarify what I was saying before the game. I often like to poke fun at Legacy, because I do know the org quite well, and I know the players pretty well as well. But this is a team that has such supreme confidence in their late-game team fighting that removing any early-game volatility, like something like a Volibear or the Lee Sin, just seems to be such a smart pickup for Legacy. Because if you know you're going to beat a team late, why not just create stability in the game? And I think that's what we see through things like a Karma pick, like an Ashe who's going to win lane. You know, Braum is that champion as well, especially into Nautilus. So I think that they just draft towards what makes them strong. And sure, it's frustrating to play against, but ultimately you do have to kind of appreciate the beauty of how they play the game, because they do play it very much on their terms.
They certainly do, and I think you can see a very different play style or a plan coming into this one from the Chiefs as to removing some of those sore points, some of those crutches that Legacy used to navigate to those mid-late game stages of the game. First pick on the Twisted Fate, then a denial by banning away the GP as well. These are two core picks that in past times have been so crucial for Legacy, not only to continue a gold lead in their favor despite maybe being down, but just forcing so many fights on their terms. We're going to see now the final picks come on through here for the Chiefs. A Kayle once again.
A blind Kayle.
That's a TN special, but that's confidence.
That's rude. I'm going to just call it straight out. There are so many things that can beat up Kayle. Now that you've given it a Rek'Sai, potentially the early game can be short up slightly, Skimmy. But, I mean, Jace, Aurelia, there's a million things that should just absolutely destroy this top lane Kayle.
No hesitation on that one, was there? It was the instant response with the Aurelia. I'm going to say, you may have taken away our globals, but we are still a team to watch out for.
The only thing I can think of is maybe they are comfortable putting Kayle into the Karma. And I know that sounds a little silly, Skimmy, but TF was played top a little bit in 2019, I know, because I had 2 TF players in Tally as well as Swiffer on my team that were happy to play that champion, and they would play it top lane every so often. So if they think that TF plus Rek'Sai can kind of bully out a top laner, maybe look to set up some kills there, then they can just camp this Kayle into the Karma. But if this goes top, Thien should die. He should die pre-6. Even one-on-one, he should die.
The best time for an Aurelia to find those moments. And going to be a bit of a different game plan, as we've mentioned already, with those globals taken away, but also the fact that now we're not going to see a triple teleport setup from Legacy. They've had to respect the CC that is coming out here from the Chiefs, especially the bottom half of their draft. That's going to be a cleanse picked up by Raze Ash. And, what are our thoughts and feelings coming into this one compared to the last Classico? It seems to me that they've patched up a few weaknesses to look to try and target, be aggressive and say, you can't play that dancing game for 20 minutes while you're waiting for those 2 items.
Yeah, I think that Legacy have won this draft. I think what they've done, Skimmy, is they've kind of lulled Chiefs into a false sense of security, where the Chiefs have gone, okay, we can pick some scaling here. We can take things like the Senna, like the Kayle, that are going to be really good at 3 items. And then Legacy have just gone bang, bang, hit them with a very good early game composition. And I would be very interested to see if the Chiefs can actually hold on to this early game.
Well, here we are, Spawn, the very first game of the day, and boy, could it be a banger. The OPL Classico with Chiefs on the left and Legacy on the right, and we wondered, would it be a clash of styles with aggression going up against late game patience? But as you saw, and as you said, looks like Legacy have baited them into a situation where we might even be seeing a resurgence of the first time these teams met this year, which was an absolute bloodbath with 50 kills.
Conqueror and Nautilus streaming out onto the Rift, Skimmy. I'm a big fan of that skin.
Such a good skin.
Huge fan of it. Anything that has, I like skins that make your champions stand out more. I don't know about you, but when my champion's dull, I actually kind of lose them in the, dull greens and blues of Summoner's Rift. So I want a real shiny, nice champion, and I feel like Conqueror is that. Buy it now to go on your 10-game winning streak, of course.
Look, I'll be honest, for a second when you mentioned Conqueror, I looked at his runes and went, hang on a minute. That is Aftershock. I'm not seeing funny. I don't need glasses at this stage, but no, it is a good skin. Obviously, one that is much, in fact, to Legacy success in Split 1. So maybe slight mental warfare there.
And solo starts for both these junglers, Skimmy. I talk about this all the time. The Rek'Sai start on the Wolf camp. Why does Rek'Sai do it? It's a quicker camp to do than blue. Gives you similar amounts of experience. Still going to get you level 2. And then you actually get onto your red buff fairly quickly, Skimmy. And Rek'Sai is one of those champions that if you get red and level 3, you can even look to invade an Olaf, who is going to go very low. And Skimmy, I hate to say I told you so, but Thien's lane looks miserable right now. He's getting zoned off experience.
There it is. You can't afford to give Tapoon an inch or a mar because you will definitely take it. Got the highest XP and gold at the 10-minute mark in a matchup like this, as you've said.
This is insane.
Very,
Why
very
would you
relevant stat to
ever
highlight.
blind pick this champion?
I'm sure there's a few questions circling right now. We've seen there was a situation where Chiefs had a full ranged composition. That was into Avant. Thankfully for them, we're able to bring it to the 35-minute mark and turn things around and not really be punished, the lack of hard bruiser initiation tank. But he's feeling the punishment here today.
And you can see tempo versus ganking jungler matchup. Already you have Rek'Sai having to take a shot. And you can see that that is going to be Olaf invading the top side. And now this becomes a dangerous game because as the Kayle, you have two creep waves about to crash into your turret. You know there's an Olaf in your topside jungle. He could dive you at any moment, and it looks like they have to bring Claire, but this could just be an all-out 3v3.
Yeah, it's going to be a three-man collapse right now. Tapoon is still in the lane. He's not looking to come just yet. That's the flash forward with the gold card. Tally's tether will break for the meantime. Now they're going to turn around, looking to find that first blood at 3 minutes in. That's going to be Claire falling on down. You can't afford to give Irelia these moments because he finds the kills. Tally nearly jukes death, but it's a 2-for-1, and Legacy come out on top.
Yeah, and it looks like Thean lost about 3 or 4 creeps to that turret there, Skimmy, as well. So it's not only just coming on top in that regard, and now they're diving the Kayle as well.
Oh no, the stun lands, the three-man collapse once again. They say you disrespect us, but we will punish you. There's the kill underneath the turret. The man has 5 CS, and he's going to lose so much crashing into this wave.
Yeah, and I wonder if they just still exit take topside jungle. You can see Thean has to teleport back here, so Croc going to at least secure some camps. But level 2 to level 4 Skimmy now just ticking over to level 3. And teleport still available for Tapoon. That is such a great die from Tally coming across into the top lane. Sure, it sacrifices his lane slightly, but now with 3 assists, you can see exactly what this guy brings to the Legacy lineup. And that's what I was saying when they were playing Halo. Tally is actually the one member on Legacy, I feel, that is willing to sacrifice and not play that heavy CS game.
Yeah.
You know, Babbitt plays a lot of tempo junglers. Tapoon's been a really great carry top laner for the entirety of this split. Raze, we know he likes to farm up a storm. He goes at nearly the highest CS a minute in the league. Whereas Tally, he's just fine playing these utility champions and playing his role. And I feel like it is certainly needed on this Legacy lineup.
And that certainly was the story when he came in for M&S in Split 1 there, the ability to play the likes of Galio, Cho'Gath, Karma, Twisted Fate, anything that really provided power and pressure to these side lanes. You've got Tapoon, you've got Raze, you give them an inch and they will go the full distance. And it's a crazy start, and one that showcases that in the first 5 minutes we've had more kills than we did in the entirety of a 20-minute affair last time.
See, they're going to be able to take what's called the Cheater's Recall here. They'll be able to get back into the lane just as this one is crashing. Interesting that Raze has actually gone the Ghost here, Skimmy.
Well, that was going to be my next segue, because we mentioned we were going to see the cleanse. He's obviously changed it here. What are your thoughts on the Ghost in this matchup?
Yeah, man, it's a very interesting summoner spell just because it has a lot of pressure on Ash. He obviously is very, very good at being able to chase you down. Hold the thought.
Hold it indeed, as Croc's going to showcase himself topside. Blade surges in, tries to try and get a kill on TM, but he's going to be safe and content, going to walk away from that one. And that is both junglers being very proactive, both with 2 kills to their name.
Yeah, it certainly is, and that's a really good read from Croc because you can see that wave pushing back. There's no way Tapoon wants to allow that to hit the turret and for Thean to be able to go get himself a free shop. So knows that there's going to be a fight happening on the top side. Sure, still has to burn his flash for it, but probably save the top lane for this Kayle. You can see the trade-off is the fact that you lose all bottom side pressure. You're going to lose the dragon. However, better than the alternative, Skimmy, which is that you're genuinely playing a 5v4.
Certainly is at this stage of the game. And Legacy will find success, as you say, with the very first dragon, and Inferno one at that, and that's Tapoon looking for the all-in underneath your tower. Oh my god, the Triumph proc, unbelievable. He has 30 HP to his name. Now he's going to try and disengage away. Claire, can he get him? Oh, no. Croc's not even in the... Oh my gosh, he's got off with the unbelievable heist. The steal of the century. Everything being burnt to try and take this man down. That's just straight disrespect.
It certainly is. And you can see that immediately they swap it towards the mid lane. They're going to actually try and get Thean into a lane, maybe versus the Karma. I would not be surprised to see Claire actually just stay here, because there is no way you can now lane against this monster. 2-1 and 2, double your CS nearly. Already got the makings of the Blade of the Wrong King and the boot, so he's going to be quicker than you as well. If Claire cannot get this wave to crash, top lane is in big trouble, and unfortunately for Claire, I think he is just dead as well.
He couldn't get the flash secure in that previous fight. He's got no mana. He's looking to try and find that gold card, but he can't do much against an Olaf that has Ragnarok proccing. He's still cycling, but he's going to fall on down. And this is a Legacy that are showing aggression, much like Split 1.
Yeah, and this is heaps better from Legacy. And I think, once again, this is a draft mistake from the Chiefs that is being punished so well. Because you cannot just utterly disrespect maybe the best top laner in the league with a blind pick like that. And you can see that it's really warped the whole game state.
Certainly has.
All of their kills have just been on the top side of the map. Nothing happening bottom lane, Skimmy. They're bouncing waves between the two of them. But Legacy on the top side, where they are definitely stronger, are just taking over this game. And now no one wants to lane into him. Look at this. They've sent the TF back mid. The KO's going back top. They're just taking in turns to die.
We're averaging a kill a minute at this rate, and it's only going to get worse from there, as Tapoon is going to be so hyper-accelerated, as will this Olaf as well. 2 bruisers with this much gold in their pocket at this stage of the game. They can truly run rampant, as you're seeing so far already here.
And very interesting that Dragku actually has more experience than Katsuri here. You can see it's flipped on the side of Legacy, where Razor's got the level 6, but wonder if that's a deliberate tactic, whether they're valuing the Nautilus ultimate and it was actually, Katsuri stepping outside of experience range, or maybe it's just a creep or two, ward or two that they've cleared. Now, as you've got 2 level 6s, maybe they look for an all-in right now, Skimmy. I always like when bottom lanes do that, especially given the fact they've got pickaxe, so technically should have a stat advantage.
I'm wondering if they're going to wait for Claire to get Destiny back up in the line. It doesn't look like it's too far away, about 20 seconds or so, as we now see Croc on your screen. Going for a lane gank really needs to help Tien. He's in so much trouble right now, but I wonder if Tapoon can go for the 1v2. Got the Cutlass, and Babbitt is in the area once again. There's the flash, there's the knock-up, there's the stun, and there's the arrow from the bottom lane. Babbitt gets one, Tapoon jumps out again. Triumph is OP. The Bruiser boys back at it again.
And if this was a scrim, Skimmy, I would be calling go next. I would be saying, can we please play the game again? Different drafts, because this has just not been the Chiefs' day. Have a look, Dragku gets stunned up.
He is indeed. There's the Glacial Fissure looking to knock them up. The return with the roots. A lot slower, a lot less explosive in the bottom side of the map. But there's the turnaround now. They're cycling through the cooldowns. Depth charges there. Flash, Ignite. He's going to fall on Dan. Burnt both sums, actually. But could not run away from death. And Dragku is now waiting for that hook. There it is. The passive, the lock in place. The CC combination between these two is obnoxious, and it guarantees them a double kill.
And maybe some hope here for the Chiefs. We mentioned how much utility is in this bottom lane for both teams as Dragku just goes golden.
No.
Why not? I mean, you just killed 2 people. Why not just show off by being a Goldie boy? Obviously a misclick. I think he wanted to ward that brush. Somehow Skimmies. Yeah, that's a disaster. The reason you probably want to control ward that brush is because if you believe it's warded and you think that the Ashe is going to get back in time for freezing it, Tally can teleport behind you. Don't know why I'm talking about that, because as I was, that's going to be half the health gone from Thien again.
How OP is Triumph? Twice now it's saved this man's life. As if he needed the help at this stage of the game. He has had Tien's number from the very get-go. And as an Olaf, yes, an Olaf at 5-0-1. That's at 10 minutes in. It's scary.
But Skimmy, you've never played Aurelia, right?
No.
I don't think. Yeah, cool. You could win this lane on Aurelia.
Oh,
this is an unlosable lane. I always say to my players, if you got, oh, hold the thought, Croc's dead.
Hold the thought. No time for disrespect, because we're looking at a kill. That's a flash. That's some disengage there from the Chiefs. Panic has to be the key word right now. They are banking on a success off their bot duo. They need a bit of time to scale on up. The Manamune is there, and that's what we'll be looking to try and build, as with the Absolution stacks. But I don't know if Legacy will afford them that kind of luxury. Time is definitely not on their side right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right, is that as this center, you're going to be playing the Glacial Augment build, which is full lethality, versus just the all-in bruises of the Olaf as well as the Aurelia. I don't know whether you can ever live through that combo as a center. Going to have to try, obviously. Hook is on again.
Certainly is. Glacial Fissure to try and disengage once more. Owl's looking to soak up the majority of this damage. Just going to disengage away, as Raze will be quite healthy and quite content underneath this tower. But that man again, he's got the Herald in his back pocket and he's looking for the kill. Yeah, wish you had that stopwatch now. Dragku's going to fall on down. Ragnarok's not up and just available just yet, but he does have the flash and he can connect to find more if need be. That's Clear jumping in with the ultimate. But Legacy say we're quite content to take those small victories and they can just back on away.
I mean, it is a 1-for-1 trade. And they use teleport for the Destiny. So I'd say actually Chiefs came out on top of that one. Especially given the fact that 80 carry falls down, so it is going to be Babbitt eating a little bit more farm. Meanwhile, any creeps that Thean gets are good creeps. We'll see whether he actually gets to collect any of these or if Topoon just goes for a dive again. That turret is just a gust of wind away from going down, Skimmy.
It certainly is. Double the CS. 2 levels up. The turret's going to fall on down.
This is just brutal.
Now, Spawn, I've not played Irelia. I've seen a ton of it, and I know the memes, better nerf Irelia. This is making an example for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason that meme happened was because not on this Aurelia's kit, on the point-click stun on E, which obviously went up with levels, and the true damage on W, and the insane gap close it used to have on Q still. There were about 5 or 6 patches in a row that Aurelia was nerfed, and I believe that she was never buffed while she was in that kit. Obviously, she then got remade. She's a much more balanced champion now, Skimmy. But if this was how every Aurelia game went, you would definitely nerf her again. Because this looks mental. Like, it just looks so strong. The mobility, the ability to put out consistent damage. There is just such a strong case for this champion punishing. But it's just because you can't play, squishy, immobile top laner that doesn't have threat on the wave, because as long as Aurelia can auto-attack and build up her passive stacks, she's always going to win that all-in. You have to be able to stop that play pattern, and obviously, as a Kayle, you can't do that until, 2 items. But by the time you have 2 items, she's probably going to have 3 in this matchup, and I think she still should be able to win that 1v1, especially if it's going to be Wit's End as a second item, which it looks like Topoon's going towards.
Yeah, it does really.
Wit's End into Cleaver, I mean, this will just be a very tough game to play.
With a front line as strong as that, Raze would not be as punished as you'd imagine without the cleanse. Ghost will give him a ton of uptime to chase those targets that the Bruisers are running straight forward towards. And I start to wonder if there is a passage of play that Chiefs can try and find to hit that quotation mark of saying, don't worry, we scale. Because as it stands, the Kayle needs a lot of time to reach.
They need to kill bot again. If they want to truly believe in their scaling, they need to kill their bottom lane again. Because I don't think there's any way that the top lane is going to catch up. You can see he's a full item behind it's Blade of the Ruin King and components versus the components of the Gunblade. We'll be able to juke out there.
Both junglers going to have a biff in the Tri-Brush as well. Look at the damage of the Olaf, though, however. The ultimate comes on out, but he can't pounce so far and take him down. It's a win on 2 separate occasions. The Destiny was used, and Claire says, I don't want to do anything with that, and he disengages the way. Talia was already on the rotation as well, and they're just bleeding everywhere on this map right now. Once again, they're investing so heavily in their bottom lane to try and find that advantage. The teleport's going to come on in, and our Chiefs are in so much trouble. Dragu is the target, and that is a kill that goes the way of Raze. Everybody's sharing the fun, the golds, and the good times here on the Rift.
And this is when it starts bleeding over into other areas of the map, Skimmy. You lose top lane so hard that they're able to maintain teleport advantage. As you're dead, teleport comes into the bottom lane, and now the one bastion of hope has now been crushed. That's going to be the turret falling down, map opened up, and across the board, Legacy absolutely destroying the Chiefs right now. This does not look like second versus first. This is Legacy teaching the Chiefs how to play League of Legends all over again.
It really is. This is a Legacy we haven't seen for such a long time. They slowed down the tempo. They eclipsed the likes of Pentanet.gg. They've been pushed by a lot of these teams in the league, both suffering defeats to Mammoth as well. But this is a new style, a new form, and this is essentially teaching Chiefs to play their own way.
And this is Legacy just saying you have to respect us. Like, yeah, we've dropped a couple of games, we're upset about it too, but you can't just pick blind scaling into us and expect to be able to go even in this game. Our best player has been Topoon for quite some time. You just can't get him rolling from level 1. And you can see he's all in Claire again. Gets another flash for his trouble. Anywhere Topoon goes at the moment, you must lead. He is 2 completed items on Summoner's Rift with boots too.
Very difficult for them to really do much at this stage of the map. Given the jungler is so far ahead, they're going to be well on their way to hitting a 22-minute mark soul point, which is going to be a mountain soul. So if it was really difficult enough to try and take down the Aurelia and the Olaf, well, just add that into the spanner of things as well.
And Olaf's practically a solo lane champion at the moment. He's also 2 items plus boots too, and that's under a turret.
They're in trouble. Tapoon going to tank 1, tank 2, Blade Search away. We'll use the flash as well. Very low. Out comes the Destiny. Does he have the lifesteal? No, he's going to fall on down. That's a big shutdown going the way of Heath for Claire. Wasn't able to find it first time, but he does get it the second time.
So finally able to shut him down. Croc now looking mid lane.
Here we go. Turning no attention on towards Raze. Use the flash. Still falls on down. Croc goes in quick pursuit as well. That means that Babip is now sitting at 8-0. Tele jumps in there with the tether, but the hook away will keep Draku protected.
Okay, so nice play from the Chiefs. Just hitting back, showing that there's still a little bit of fight in them. I think they will lose this mid lane turret, but they trade 2 for 1 across the map, and they do even out the summoner spell usage. Isle's just going to take a little bit of damage, but not all that much happening there. And a free reset will be achieved for Thean. He's down 50 CS. Couple of turrets, 3 kills and 2 assists, Skimmy. But he is technically still Kale. Like that, and you hate to give like an out for a player like this, because I think that he has like comprehensively been beaten this game. But if he does get to 3 items, his champion's still just absurd, right?
It certainly is. Level 11.
He gets to level 16, maybe there still is hope.
It's the second big check mark of the 3, as you say, with 16 coming online. And that was the question we mentioned. Would it be possible for Chiefs to buy enough time, given the current pacing of this game? We're still on track here for a kill a minute. As I said, once again, very reminiscent of the first time these two teams met. That was all like carnage. And one that you were saying, I wasn't too much of a fan of, really, from Legacy, because we know how good they are at the macro. Well, they're just, they've spun the wheel this morning. They've decided to change things up here.
But this has actually been pretty good macro from Legacy, to be honest, because Babbitt parked towards the correct side of the map. They use their teleport to dive. It's not late game macro, right? But it's still early game good decisions. They haven't just 1v1 killed people every time, although there have been a couple of those as well. And now they have firm control of the map. They've taken down 3 turrets to nothing. They've got 5 objectives to nothing as well. So you can't exactly knock the Legacy macro this game.
Sure.
I think they've done a really good job of that. It's just that, they've afforded themselves a little bit more of an early game comp. Big ultimate.
That's a massive ultimate. The bot duo Legacy coming up clutch right now. They find their target and they lock down Draku. The Battle of the Frozen Boys. Make sure that you cannot run to the safety of that turret. Now they're going to summon a Herald to compound that lead even further, as the 20-minute mark is fast approaching, and it grants us what is now going to be an 8,000 gold lead.
Looking for the 5 here is Croc. Not going to get it. However, they will be able to save their turret, and we'll go down next wave. Meanwhile, Topoon on the bottom lane looking to just continue to whack away at that turret as well. It's actually going to be a Destiny coming in.
Yeah, that's going to be a 3-man collapse on towards him. Can he go for the 1v3 clutch? Out goes the Unstoppable for the meantime. He's going to try and run away to the safety of his team. Try and force a rotation mid. Going to get flashed upon and going to get smited. He's going to fall on down. Tien will get 1 back in retribution.
Yeah, and there's still too early for the Baron to be a realistic objective to take, so you just have to cop that one. I think Topoon's made a couple of mistakes now, Skimmy, that are actually allowing the Chiefs to have more hope than they would have otherwise in this game. Still a massive hill to climb, right? We're talking about 7,000 gold lead at 21 minutes. That's a monstrous lead. But, he's now got 3 deaths and is starting to get picked on by this TF. When you're playing against TF, Skimmy, you have to be so aware of when you're pushing without pressure. And what I mean by that is if they're sitting there hitting the mid lane turret and you're pushing, that's good. As soon as that creep wave dies, you have to be able to back up away from that turret. Otherwise, the TF is going to be able to punish you in a 1v2 scenario with very little repercussions. And that's exactly what happened there. Turret went down. Topoon felt like he could still look for a little bit of a cheeky fight. Well, TF teleports on top of him, hits him with the stun card, and you're just sitting there with no trade for the rest of the team. Now, if that happens in another 5 minutes' time, I guarantee Legacy will pick Baron up on the back end of it. But obviously, still 20 minutes into the game, that's not going to happen now.
Certainly is not, and this is the do or die moment, as if we've already had those moments happen on multiple occasions so far here today. 5 seconds and Soul Point is up for grabs. Legacy well on the clock, pushing the tempo, making sure that despite being aggressive in 1v3 situations, they are still the ones in the driving seat looking to pick this one up and make sure they have all the combat summoners, all the advantages to close out this game.
And I'm really curious how long until this transform for the center, because I don't think they can fight right now without it. Looks like they might try. Oh, just got it. Maybe they go for it now.
Not going to happen here today. They're going to disengage away, and that gives Legacy the Mountain Soul. 6k gold lead up.
22-minute Soul. It's going to be a 28-minute Elder Skimmy. I don't know whether any amount of scaling can overcome the lead that Legacy have right now. And double Mountain against a damage comp, just having those extra shields, and I talk about it all the time, you know, all of a sudden, Tabby's so much more valuable. The fact that they also have, you know, double Aegis being picked up there and going to go into 2-death stance. Well, good luck killing the 2 bruisers now with the extra shield, the extra resistances they're getting. It just makes Aurelia feel a little bit more like a tank and a little bit less like a bruiser. You know, maybe Juggernaut-esque, if you will, as opposed to, you know, the highly mobile assassin that she can be. So now it just becomes the arms race, Skimmy. You have to say in that category, Legacy are definitely well ahead. But I do like the scaling of Senna. I do like the scaling of Kayle. There is still options for the Chiefs. They just look
see there,
that they're
47
in the
stacks on the Senna, so one on his way.
Yeah, but they're just, you know, they're in the distance. You know,
Oh, for sure. They need another good 10 minutes or so.
they're sitting in the middle of COVID-stricken Melbourne, and they're looking to 2021 for some hope. That's what's happening right now.
Yeah, they certainly are. Wiping their tears because it's not been a pretty start to this matchup.
It's been quite ugly, to be honest.
Yeah.
Legacy have played some very pretty League of Legends. I'm actually, you know, I like when Legacy play like this. This is the scary Legacy. This is a Legacy that, you know, this is a Legacy that won OPL Split 1. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah,
and
for
did
sure.
so in commanding fashion and didn't look tested by anyone. If they get back to this form by the end of the year, I don't think anyone will be able to stand with them again, Skimmy, because when they play like this, they are by far the best team in the comp.
A form check for both teams. We wondered what would happen for last week and how they would bounce back from it. It would be a day 1 warm-up, but day 2, they are angry. This is angry gaming at its absolute finest.
And they've just started two-manning the Baron. What can the Chiefs do?
So.
You can't actually look at it. We check out Topoon, who's not disconnected. He's just threatening a teleport with home guards, guys. It's going to come in now. And this is going to be Baron dropping for Legacy.
Yeah, Baron's gone. They got the Mountain Soul. They've got the Baron. Now Raze can pop the Ghost and look to run down anybody in his sights. The arrow's already been used so far, so he's now reliant on the body to try and lock you in place. Chiefs come in for a sniff and decide, nah, not what we're looking for.
Now you have to contend with 25-minute Baroned up creeps, as well as the Mountain Soul, as well as the fact that in 3 minutes you have to fight. There's no other choice. In 3 minutes' time, the timer is over. You have to fight them if the game isn't over by then. You can let them take whatever they want, but you cannot allow them to take that Elder Dragon, Skimmy, not on that staggered time. Well, Legacy, I feel like, can just continue to collect everything around the map.
The question for me now is we know how good Legacy are when they get these Baron buffs. Typically speaking, the first one is used to stabilize, but do they need to stabilize? They're so far ahead. That goes out the window. 25 minutes and they're up by a 10k gold lead. The question is now, how many inhibitors can they take?
And how much control can they get? How much of Croc's jungle can they take away? You know, can they get this last remaining outer turret? What will the gold lead look like when the Chiefs have to fight for this Elder Dragon?
Take a mental note here. 10k at the moment. They're going to go for a 3-lane push as they rotate their members through mid lane. And now look to try and crash in similar fashion. Chiefs left to pick up the pieces. Any CS that can be afforded to them. Level 16 now online for the Aurelia. A distant dream here for the Kayle. And with 3 items online for both himself and the jungler. Dead Bruiser boys will get it done.
Yeah, and right now if you're Kayle, you kind of have to just be catching waves. I know the temptation is, okay, we need to group up, we need to stop these turrets going down. But I just think that that is not realistic right now, Skimmy. When you have a look at it, she needs level 16 to be able to fight this dragon. You have to let an inhibitor fall, most likely. Try and force Legacy to go for a recall. Let them take it. So often in this scenario, we say just let them take the recall and then they try and chase and they get killed and the game's over. But just let them take whatever they want right now. Try and farm up in the base. Because this obviously is dire situation, but the only way you get out of it is if you somehow make it work.
The first inhibitor falls on down. Now soon to follow is the mid lane. That'll be 2. And
Are they just going to stay on the map and take all 3?
Well, it's looking to be the case right now because we've got 60 seconds until an Elder. Would this not just be the cleanest League of Legends we've ever seen? 3 inhibitors into a disengage on to that big buff. That's Croc gone. He's down for 40 seconds. He got caught on the rotation. And now they're going to flash on forward and look for that kill target. They've got their eyes set on Claire. He's forced to flash away. He can hang on to that ultimate for a little bit of time. But there goes Ragnarok, and you can't stun, and you can't CC. This base belongs to me. That's going to be the 3rd and final inhibitor that falls on down. Legacy, they are crushing it. Everything belongs to them so far. Divine Judgment goes out there just to prevent Tien from falling on down next to his turret and his fountain. And that is methodical, that is clean. And this is 28 minutes in with Legacy looking for the win.
It certainly are. Than goes in.
He does, and he's not going to be able to hit that level 16 power spike here today. 1 and 5 on the day. Disrespect shown in the drop, but punishment delivered here by Taboon. Legacy are back. 28 minutes in, they take down the Chiefs.
Very, very good game from Legacy there. Cleaning house. They just stuck around in the base, and once again, you have to just allow them to take what they want, and hopefully they leave, Skimmy, because otherwise they just kill you and then the game's over. We see that mistake made so often. Maybe they would have been able to farm up, get an item or 2 more, but got to give credit to Legacy. They played a very high pressure game there. Punished well, as we pointed out, but that's just good League of Legends. That's what happens when you take those risks in drafts. Sometimes they bite you.
And you mentioned, have they just done the 400 IQ outplay in the drafting phase and baited Chiefs into a false sense of security? Well, it seems to be the case here because, coming into this one, Legacy were looking to have sort of average game lengths of like 35 minutes and onwards. That's a 29-minute shellacking if I've ever seen it between 1st and 2nd, as you mentioned. And that is, that's a big statement to the rest of the league now that we're looking at Legacy and saying, are they a little bit crippled right now? Is it our time to dethrone them and get ourselves the most desirable situation going into those playoffs? A big statement here from Legacy, a big win for them as a whole. And we're going to jump to a quick break as we get ready for banger number 2 after the break with Order taking on the Direwolves.
Today is the NeoSurf Cup, and we're going to be playing against Misfits, so hopefully we can bring home the win.
NeoSurf is simple, safe and secure. You can go to your local shop and get a voucher code and use it online, preferably to buy League of Legends skins.
He's got it! This is deadly! He's got it!
If you're craving the taste of your favourites, head to Macca's for a fast, safe and contactless drive-through experience. For your Macca's run, contact free, we'll be here.